You said you started down the regenerative path in 2017 because you felt like you were going backwards. What did going backwards actually look like on the ground? And what was the moment you knew something had to fundamentally change?
Yeah, so going backwards, the autumn is the hard time of year on this
Okay.
farm because we have a prolific growth period in the spring. And so you drive around the farm in the spring, it always looks good. The autumn is the test case.
Right.
And so, what going backwards looked like was increasing need for more fertiliser every year, feeling like you were struggling to feed the same number of sheep as last year, and having to supplementary feed more during the autumn period than we used to.
Right. So you could see year on year that your costs were going up, your production was going down, and it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that that's unsustainable. Eventually,
right.
You get to zero. There's an interesting little side note in there where you talk about the farm looks great at certain times of the year. I always tell people when you're looking at a farm, look at Google Maps, and you can see the historic, Google Earth has a historical thing, so you can go back and look at it in the middle of the different seasons, and it's striking sometimes.
Yeah.
At the certain right time of the year, the creek's flowing and everything's green and blowing, and then you look at it in the middle of summer, the creek's dry, the dams are dry, the ground's bare, brown.
Yeah.
You realise, oh wow, okay. That doesn't mean that it's not a good farm, but you need to be aware.
Yeah. Yeah, and even last year we had the worst drought that we've had in 150 years. And it was really hard on the farm and the animals, but we managed the farm in a better way than we probably had previously. And so we didn't put the animals onto the hill paddocks. We let them rest just like we always do.
Right.
So that when we did get to lambing, they could lamb on those paddocks into reasonable grass, even despite the drought.
Right.
And then we had to modify what we were doing. And so we had to feed, supplementary feed all the way through lambing.
Right.
And so that meant figuring out what feed is the best to feed to lambing ewes, which we'd never done before.
Never had to do before.
Never had to do before. And so then we figured out that actually a combination of lucerne hay and pellets was a good combination.
Right.
Because the lucerne hay, you would roll out, the ewes would bring their lambs, the lambs would sit on the hay in the dry, out of the rain, the ewes would eat, there was no stress, it was very low stress environment.
Excellent.
And in fact, actually, we don't use sheepdogs on the farm either.
I noticed you don't have dogs.
To try and reduce the stress. And so, the lambs that are in the next paddock are very friendly. They're not scared of you. And that's the objective, is that you want to create a really low stress environment.